I'm in AX here, and this is R3. Now, if we're using warehouse management, the new warehouse management module with accounts receivable, and you want to do some credit checking, there's a parameter that you might want to have a look at. You'll see if we go into accounts receivable parameters and go to warehouse management, there's a parameter here that says display credit limit check dialog at warehouse release. So I'm not going to turn it on yet. Let's see the effect before we turn it on. So I've got a sales order and a customer here, and the customer I've set a credit limit on, which is 358,000, and this is below what's currently in the system for their balance. So I've put in an order, and you'll notice that if we try to release this to the warehouse, then it'll go straight to the dialog. Now we'll get the credit warning message, and so the credit warning message will be based on the credit rating parameters, in this case message when exceeding credit limit. So this is a warning, for example. So we'll get that message there. Now let me reverse out the warehouse posting that was done, and let's turn on the parameter. We can see the effect of what that does. So I'm just going to cancel my work, and we'll cancel the shipment. That'll mean we can release the sales order again after we set the parameter. So I'm going to go to the parameter, so warehouse management. I'm going to enable this. So let's close our parameters so we know it's saved. Now when I go to release to warehouse now on this order, what you'll see is we'll get prompted for a dialog box before the posting or before the release happens. So from here I can choose, am I doing the balance? Am I doing the balance plus the packing slip, or am I doing balance plus all transactions? So you've got an additional option to sort of check what the credit limit type is that you're checking. So essentially that lets you override the default being, for example, if I go to accounts receivable parameters, you'll see on our credit it's balance plus all, and that was the value that came up on that dialog box when it came up. So if we say balance plus all, for example, and I say OK, then it's obviously going to do the check for the credit limit. So that only works on the sales order release to warehouse. If that's something that you want to enable, you'll see, for example, I'm going to just clear out my work again from the warehouse, and you'll see if we go to release this again, let's just clear out our shipment. Alright, so if we use some of the other options for releasing, in this case the release to warehouse screen, you'll see my order here 2262. I'll see the credit limit, and so if I say OK, then you'll see the default credit limit type is going to be checked here. Now you can change it. If you want to enable that, for example, you can change it here, but it won't pop up the other dialog. So if we say release to warehouse, you'll see that the message will come up about the type of credit check that's done based on what the user had put on this line, for example, and therefore the credit limit check is done. Now again, these are warnings, so that's something you need to consider in terms of your practices. But that's a quick look at the parameter. You can find it on accounts receivable parameters, warehouse, and it's called display credit limit check dialog at warehouse release.